What's up, guys?
Morning, Drew. Drew, when you guys are able to run the ball as effectively as you did on Friday, how much more so does it open up what you're able to do offensively?
Yeah, listen, running the football does a lot of things. Obviously, it allows you to really control the line of scrimmage. It sets up your play-action passing game. Typically, if you run the ball well, you're talking 4 or 5 yards a pop. It's allowing you to really control the tempo of the game. Time of possession becomes, really something in your favor, obviously because you're chewing up the clock. And I think it just, over time, there's an attrition. It wears defenses down. When you talk about having to defend that type of a run game over the course of, 3-4 quarters, I think that's when you really start to see the benefit of it as well.
Next one from Mike Triplett.
Drew, Sean Payton has always talked about Alvin Kamara's intelligence, saying all the way back to when he coached Marshall Faulk for comparison, and that he hasn't had many running backs with that intelligence. How have you seen that, both on the field, maybe even in conversations you've had?
Yeah, listen, he knows football. I mean, he knows about a lot of things. I mean, he's just one of those guys that can hear something one time and he's got it. There's some guys who, need to be able to, rep something a few times before it becomes ingrained. And I think, listen, I'm kind of one of those guys. I'm a rep guy. I like reps. I like, feeling timing and rhythm and just doing it kind of over and over again to get the feel of something or the confidence with something. And Alvin's one of those guys who you can just tell him something. He doesn't necessarily even need to get out there and rep it, and he's got it. He'll remember it, he'll retain it, and I think that's a rare trait.
Next one from Amos Morrow.
Yeah, as you guys head into the final week of the season, what are some of the goals you still have laid out that you want to accomplish during this last game?
Well, in my opinion, I just want to be playing our best football. I want to be as sharp as we possibly can. Understanding that, obviously we're still missing a few guys that hopefully we'll have, when we get to the playoffs. But still be as sharp and efficient as we possibly can. Like, understand exactly what wins football games, and let's make sure that we're doing all those things. And we're putting ourselves in the best position to succeed every time we step on the field. Because I think then there's a confidence that comes with that. There's an edge that comes with that. And listen, everybody who makes it into the tournament, at the end, is a team who has found ways to win in order to put themselves in a position to be a playoff team. And so once you get into the playoffs, you're playing against teams that, that know how to win, that have found different ways to win. And so each one of those games just becomes, that much more important when it comes to kind of the finer details of winning those games.
Next one's from Rod Walker.
Hey, Drew, on days like yesterday when y'all are off, are you using that day? Are you being a cheerleader? Are you being a scout? What are you sort of doing on a Sunday like yesterday?
Man, I'm spending a bunch of time with family. But listen, my kids love ball, and so we, most times we have a game on, and so we're sitting there watching for a bit, and then we'll go outside and, kids will jump on the trampoline, or we'll go to the park, or we'll go for a bike ride, or we'll do something, and then come right back and we'll watch some more. So yeah, we watched bits and pieces of a bunch of different games yesterday.
Next one's from Luke Johnson.
Drew, that was actually going to be my question. I know your kids are big football fans, so I was curious what their analysis was on Alvin's game on Friday.
Well, Alvin officially won Balin his fantasy football championship with that performance. So Balin was in the finals going into this week, and I guess 6 touchdowns get you 56 fantasy points, and so that turns out to be pretty good. That pretty much sealed the deal. He destroyed the other guy, thanks to Alvin.
Next one's from Brett Martell.
Hey, Drew, sticking with the Alvin theme, this season, I wonder if you could comment big picture his influence on the Saints. I don't know if you agree that it's his best season, but, in the year when, the 2019 Offensive Player of the Year is not available for 9 games, and, obviously you were hurt and there's another guys in and out of the lineup, how would you kind of characterize is Alvin's season?
Listen, he's had a phenomenal season. He's been available. He's been as good in the run game as he has been in the pass game, as he has been in protection. So all around, I certainly feel like this has been his best season. I mean, he's done great things all the way up to this point, but I think, especially coming into a year where he just received an extension to his contract, right, and a commitment from the Saints that you're our guy, you're going to be here long term, and then for him to have the year that he did, when I think you may look historically at some guys that where maybe the motivation isn't quite as much. I think Alvin's one of those guys who is he's a prideful guy. He takes pride in his preparation, representing his team, and then going out and his performance on the field. And similar to what Michael Thomas did last year, coming off of his contract, this year with Alvin. I mean, I think it says a lot about the type of guys that we bring in here and their love of the game and their commitment to what we're trying to accomplish here.
Next one's from Luke Johnson.
Drew, you said last week after the Chiefs game, it was about getting rhythm and feel back. Are you still at the stage where you're trying to get that back, or did you feel the Vikings game was a little bit better there?
I definitely feel like the Vikings game was better. I mean, there was. I mean, really. Listen, all in all, I felt like we moved the ball extremely well, both on the ground and through the air. I mean, listen, we didn't punt in the whole game. Had 580 yards or something total offense. So we were moving the ball, we were rolling, we were doing, what we wanted to do. There was, and I think there's definitely more to be desired. I mean, there's definitely room for improvement, especially as we kind of get to this last game and on our way into the playoffs. But I think I'm pleased with the progress.
Next one's from Amy Just.
Yeah, speaking of this next game, no team in NFC South history has ever swept the entire division. And there's been some really good teams in this league, a couple Super Bowl champs, several other teams to make it there. What would that mean, I guess, for you and the team to, just add another piece of your name into the record books and lore and all that stuff?
Yeah, listen. I mean, I was thinking about that a little bit, just because this is our 15th season here, right, in the Sean Payton era, and we've had a bunch of great teams here, and there have been a bunch of great teams around our division, that have been Super Bowl caliber teams, and I think it just says a lot about the division when, no team has ever, swept the division. I mean, you understand how hard it is to win the division, kind of week in and week out, and there are so many battles, and it's kind of like regardless of record too. I mean, you are getting everything that each of those teams has, and I think we understand the significance of that, and obviously that'd be a great accomplishment. But at the end of the day, it's just getting another win, which just even better positions ourselves for the playoffs.
Next one's from John DeSager.
Drew, I know these are regular season games, obviously, and so they don't have that sudden death feel, but have these last couple of games been, I guess, somewhat kind of a playoff atmosphere when you're jockeying for position and there's still so much to play for?
I think you try to take that approach. You absolutely try to take that approach. I think you get to December and all of a sudden things really begin to define themselves. And listen, there's so many divisional games that there's just still so many things that can happen, right? Because each divisional game is almost worth two, and so obviously we're in a position where we've secured the division, we've won the division, and yet there's still so much out there in regards to playoff scenarios. So we want to best position ourselves for the tournament, and we also want to be playing our best football going into it. So we're constantly thinking about how we can improve.
All right, we're all set.
All right, guys,
Drew.
thanks.
Hey, Mario.
How you guys doing?
You can go ahead and get started.
All right.
JD?
All right, good morning, DeMario.
Good morning.
Mario, you probably haven't often been on the other side of performance like Alvin, a running game like that, but, you know, in the times that you have, how debilitating can that be for an opposing defense to have a team just, you know, chunk yards, touchdowns on the ground?
Yeah, I think an important part of just good defense, you have to be able to stop the run and force teams to be one-dimensional in already a tough, passing game. And so when you can't do that, it's going to be a long day. But sometimes no matter how much you plan and are prepared, you go up against somebody that's special like Alvin. And when he's rolling, you got a tough day on your hands.
Hey, Mr. Morrell.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, as you guys head into this final game of the regular season, what are some of the goals and things that you're hoping to accomplish?
The mission hasn't changed. We've had one goal since we entered the season. The mission hasn't changed. We close now. Got one goal in the bag, but the mission not complete. Got to keep going.
Amy Just?
Yeah, winning on Friday, I guess it was super exciting, another division title, but not everything so positive with Quan leaving due to his injury. Just how tough was that to see somebody who's really become a big part of this defense and this team go down like that?
Yeah, it's tough because, something like that happened to one of your brothers. And I always emphasize, our locker room and how we're like family. And I don't know if anybody's came in and jailed with a group as fast as Quan has. So it's tough because you feel that pain for him, but he's a strong dude, strong mental mind, and it's a minor setback for a major comeback for him. So he'll be good. Definitely, it just puts an extra chip on our shoulder to go and do it for our brother. So.
Luke Johnson?
Yeah, Mario, I was wondering if there's any noticeable kind of turning point for you all when you really felt like you were starting to play kind of your best football defensively this year.
I don't know when the exact turning point was, but we know we didn't play as high level as we could early on in the season with as talented group as we have and as much preparation as we put into our craft. So when things just started to catch stride, it was just something that we had expected all along. But I think we never really focused on why it wasn't happening. We just tried to focus on the things that we needed to correct and tried to do that.
I guess is that kind of the point when you have a really good defense is to kind of, or when you're confident in your team is to just kind of keep plugging away and be confident that it'll come around. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, since I've been here, we've been fortunate to win a lot of games, and so you don't win a lot of games without doing a lot of things right. And we've had a lot of success on defense, and our kind of mentality was to go from good to great this year, and so we certainly felt like the things that we were doing were taking us in that direction. And early on, we weren't getting those results, but John Wooden talks about that a lot, one of the greatest coaches of all time, and DA talks about it a lot. It's about focusing on the process, and when you focus on the process, the rest will take care of itself. And so I don't think we ever looked at the results and tried to fix the results. We just continued to critique our process, and it's paid off. And that's certainly going to have to be intact as we go down this final stretch.
Amy Gus?
Yeah, in the history of the NFC South, there have been a couple teams that have won the Super Bowl, a couple other teams that have made it, but no team has swept the rest of the division in the regular season. I guess, what does that say about the division itself, and then what does that say about this team that y'all have a chance to do it this week?
It's a tough division. You know, a lot of good teams, a lot of good quarterbacks, a lot of good defenses, a lot of talent. So it's important, you know, to get this win because it helps us go where we're trying to go and do what we're trying to do. And it's the next game. But I don't think sweeping the division was necessarily on our goal sheet, you know. And so it'll be nice, but the mission at the end is what's most important.
And last question for John DeSager.
Mario, this isn't a sudden death situation. These aren't a playoff game, but you guys still are playing for something pretty significant these last couple of games. Does that make them kind of feel like a playoff atmosphere?
Yeah. We've had the mindset that we've been in the playoffs for the last 2 weeks. That's just our mentality. And so you don't know what's going to happen across the league. So, you know, you just win your game and let the rest take care of itself. And that's what you have to do in the playoffs.
All right, I think we're all set. Thanks, Mario.
Hey, appreciate it. You guys be blessed.
right, we can go ahead and get started. Luke Johnson, you want to start us off?
Hey Ryan, I'm just curious how much fun you guys had watching the tape from that game. It seemed like up front, maybe one of the best games y'all played all season.
Yeah, it was a fun game for us. Really got after it in the run game, obviously, and coming out to the sideline, big smile. So it was a fun game, and yeah, I think everyone enjoyed it, and we were all clicking together. So it was a great win for us.
When
Go ahead.
when you're able to do that despite being down, I mean, you guys have played a lot this season without guys in the lineup, but when you're able to do that without Andres and Nick Easton out there, you miss a play and Greenidge comes in and throws a key block. What does that say about y'all as a unit?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have really good depth, obviously, at the offensive line position, and we have guys that can step in and not only just play, but play at a high level. And we hold our guys accountable to be able to go in and step in and play like that. So I think we have a great thing going here on the offensive line, and we all mesh together really well and play together really well. So it's kind of a special thing.
Understand?
Good morning, Ryan. Ryan, what's the feel among the offensive line when you're having the kind of games that you had on Friday? This is 3 200-yard rushing games out of the last 5. Is there a feeling of dominance as you go along that's just kind of imposing your will?
Yeah, it's definitely kind of a mentality of imposing your will. Obviously we take a lot of pride in the run game and, obviously protecting Drew, but we take a lot of pride in the run game and getting after it. And, that was a big key going into this week is running the ball and physicality. And, obviously I think we did a good job with that.
And you got?
Yeah, back to Luke's first question, but specifically about Teron. It's not often offensive linemen get a ton of praise on social media for what they do, but he had a couple blocks where he was pushing guys all the way out of bounds and then all the way into the end zone. I mean, what comes to mind when you see something like that? I mean, he may have been on the ground only once on Friday too.
Yeah. I saw a couple of his blocks. I saw a couple of them in the game after I watched the big screen and watched the replay, and it's just it's pretty awesome to see stuff like that. And he got after a couple guys and just ran in the concession stand. So it was it's cool to see that stuff. And we were, like I said, we were having a lot of fun out there. And yeah, I mean it's awesome to play a game like that and play the way we did and have fun like we did. So, yeah.
Hey, Mr. Morale?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, as you guys head into this final game, what are the goals? What are you looking to accomplish this Sunday when you take on Carolina?
Really, I think we just have to keep playing our game. We're going to go into this and prepare like we prepare every week. I think Drew said this a couple weeks ago that from now on, every game is a playoff game. We need to treat it like that. The stakes are high right now, and but like I said, we have to go and prepare like we prepare every week. Yeah.
Luke Johnson?
Just considering how much y'all have had to shuffle on that offensive line this year, how big a role have Rauscher and Nugent played in keeping y'all cohesive and playing well together?
Yeah, they've done a great job this year. I think they've done a great job, ever since I got here in preparing us, getting us ready, and making sure that we're on top of our assignments and ready to play. But yeah, I think that they do a great job, not only preparing the starting 5, but preparing, our jumbo guys and, our depth as well. So they do a great job week in and week out of making sure that everything's accounted for and we're locked and loaded going into the game.
And you got?
If you don't mind, I'm gonna ask a quick follow-up, Evan. I don't know. I'm assuming you were watching the game last night. Yeah, I'm just curious. When's the last time you played in conditions like that, like they were playing in Green Bay last night? Does it?
With the snow.
I know you grew up there, obviously, but does that
Yeah, I mean it's. I haven't played in a game like that in a while. You know, I think we played Minnesota last year at Wisconsin, and it was a cold game. But I don't think I played in like a real snowy game like that. But no, it's cool being from Wisconsin. The snow, the cold. That's kind of a little bit more what I grew up with. So it's, you know, it's exciting seeing that kind of environment, that kind of game. I would enjoy it. I don't know about a lot of other guys, but that's just me.
And last question for Amy.
Yeah, we've talked about how valuable Nick Easton has been as a free agent signing, but James Hurst, you know, he played a couple games at tackle, and then Friday he played at guard. Just how important has he been for the offensive line this season?
He's been a vital role with our offense. He's got some jumbo early on, then he's you know, coming in, backing up different positions. But you know, he's a smart, tough player, really well-rounded player, and has obviously done a really good job at you know, what they're asking him to do. So he's done a great job.
All right, we're all set. Thanks, Ron. Appreciate
All
your
right,
time.
thank you.